we're going. So just wait a couple of minutes. Let's make sure we start properly. There we go. Right. We are live. We're going. Right. Just checking it's all working. Yeah, there's people slowly coming in now. So this whole webinar is going out on a few different platforms, LinkedIn, Facebook, and whatnot. This is going to go over the strategies that we've used for our clients in order to scale up their businesses. Some of them you will have, well, most of you will have heard of. You'd be amazed at how little companies actually implement them, which is ridiculous, really. But that's why we get the business. So these are the proven strategies to 100 million in revenue. Now, just to kind of go in a little bit of who we are. Margin, we're a growth partner. As a model, we go into like tech-based businesses and we scale up their revenue with them. You know, that's why it's a partnership. So we go in, implement all these systems, and then help those companies scale up the revenue. And then obviously we get kickback from that. That's our incentive. The more that they scale, the more revenue we generate for them and for us. We're going. So 1 minute, I lost the page, but yeah. Yeah, anyway, lost the page for somewhere, don't know why. So, just let me bring this up. Right. So, the first thing I would say is if you're in the leadership team, especially if you're the CEO, managing director, founder, if this is, you know, the sole company that you're involved in, obviously some founders they're the founder or the business owner and they employ other people to run it for them. I'm on about if you're a founder or a CEO or managing director or any part of the leadership team, you 100% should be using your like things like LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, using them as a strategy to generate revenue or generate interest for your business. You should be the biggest proponent, the biggest shouter of what you do as a business. Now, obviously, because we do a lot of outreach, we see a lot of companies. Well, I see a lot of feeds of a lot of founders, CEOs, and some of the CEOs that you come across, especially in the tech industry and whatnot. And the tech industry is pretty shoddy at marketing anyway. You know, you go on their LinkedIn feed and they've not posted anything in 6 to 12 months. You know, as the leadership team, you should be the one shouting about your business the most. You are the top of funnel in essence, if you want to look at it like that. So, you know, as the leadership team, that's what you should be. You should be setting time aside every single week to schedule up content from your own personal feeds. The marketing team for your business will look after your social channels for the company, but I'm on about your personal feed, and everything should be directed to the company. Now, from the business perspective, you know, you want to be positioned from a place of authority. So there's multiple ways you can do that. The content that you put out, first and foremost. Now, the content that you put out needs to be about the customer. This all got to be customer centric. Now, that's, you know, you look on some feeds and you look on some company channels and it's, we are this business. This is what we do. We can do this. It's all we, right? All your outreach and all your things should be shouting about, should be all customer centric, putting the customer at the focus of your product or service, right? Now, there's other things you can use like industry reports and research studies. Now, when a lot of companies do these, but what they do, they'll spend hours or quite a small fortune on getting these made. So they'll either outsource it or get their marketing team to do it. And that's man hours straight away. And what they'll do, they'll spend all that time, 10 plus hours, putting all this together for these industry reports and studies. Then they'll just put it on their website and just put one post out. Now, I'll talk about a little bit in a minute of how you can get the most out of those things. But just to do that, no one's going to see it. That's the thing. One post here and there on your social feed, no one's going to see it. And you've got to be smart, especially today. Everyone's kind of fighting for attention. Same with like ebooks, guides, webinars like this. I'll come on to that in a minute. But like your ebooks and guides, your industry reports are a great way of getting attention to your business, but only if you do it the right way. And a lot of companies kind of put in a lot of effort to make them, like I said, and they just don't utilize them. So they're there as a spot on their website and they get no attention. Right? So yeah, come on to that. So your webinars and online workshops. Excuse me. Now your webinars like this are a great way for driving traffic. But again, they'll drive traffic. For those companies that do webinars, not many of them do it. Crazy. Because they are a great way of feeding your funnel. And that's what I want to get to in a minute. But like, they build you. Not only do they build you from a place of authority, they put you in touch with good people. Have interactions with other people that are doing webinars, and don't just do your own. Speak on others. Do workshops. That's like industry leading content. Get involved with other people and do it. Put the case studies together. Make these success stories. And what you'll do once you start getting all these leads, email addresses, some won't be interested. Some will just be interested slightly in what you're doing, not ready to buy, but just curious. Some will be super hot. There's a way of feeding all them into the funnel so that you are maximizing on it. But we'll come to that in a second. So, engaging your audience is increasing conversions. So to truly resonate with your audience, you need to engage them. And that's like I was saying. Not just saying us, me, we. It's all about the customer. So whether it's through compelling foundational copy, understanding their needs, or telling a story, engagement is the key to increasing the conversions. Now you'll be engaged on various different channels. The key one that I'll come on to in a minute is your funnel, and everything needs to go through there. Crafting compelling and foundational copy and applying foundational copy in your marketing material is absolutely paramount. But how you use that from there in order to bring in customers and clients to you is something else, and that's what we'll get onto. It's more than just words. It's a way of connecting your audience with what you do, and it should be persuasive, tell a story, and be applied consistently across all your marketing materials. So, communicating your vision consistently. This is one of the vital strategies that we use for our clients, and it's part of a 5-core system that we do. Now, communicating your vision consistently. That's across all your channels through different aspects, whether it be your leadership team, your marketing team, whether your leadership team's going on to podcasts, interviews, workshops, right? And then utilizing all the stuff that comes from that, get your marketing team to rehash that and put it into a cohesive material that just constantly re-engages your customers. A consistent vision is the backbone of any successful enterprise, and it provides direction, fosters unity, and drives growth within, not just internally but externally, right? And that's fundamentally what we're trying to do here. Consistent vision and communication from every single level. Now, what does that mean? From the C-suite to all of your employees, everyone should be aligned with the company's vision. That's if you want true growth. And because here's the thing, right? Say, for example, year on year, you've been having 10% growth, 20% growth, right? Although your onboarding of staff is slow with that amount of progress. Now, if you have, because what we do is we accelerate the growth tenfold. Sometimes the management team aren't used to that. So the onboarding can get a little bit scattered, should we say, because there's no time or there's little time to get everyone on board. And if you're onboarding loads of new people when your current core team are not engaged within that total vision initially, it's going to get fractured. And what a lot of the team that you're with now kind of get left behind. So the alignment ensures a cohesive action and a unified brand message overall. So what's going internally, your marketing team can shout that out to external factors. Internal impact and external influence. Now, internally, a clear vision motivates employees, guiding their actions and decisions. Externally, it positions the company as a leader, influencing stakeholders and customers aligned. Right? So, tactics for communicating visions consistently. We'll come on to that. Roles of webinars in authority building, things like this. Right. So why does featuring on industry podcasts in developing authority in the industry? Now, that's not just podcasts, but workshops. There's a lot of, you'll notice, so things like a lot of software companies nowadays, or I say nowadays, in the last 3 to 5 years, they've been the bigger ones, things like your Salesforce and your HubSpot, although their core service is it's a software company, their business as a whole, if you look at what they've got on paper, their business is a media company, right? So they make all the money on the software predominantly, apart from a little bit of advertising, but they're buying up blogs, websites, media sites all across the board. Because what they want to do is they want to channel all that information or all those visitors to their core offering. So although they own all these other companies, and then on paper it might look like a negative because they're running separate businesses, but they are essentially media companies. They're not software companies anymore. So that's what I was saying. I'm saying that to kind of give you a highlight of how important it is to get your message out there outside of your current or standard route to telling customers or potential customers about what it is you do, what you stand for in the world of business. Now, like I say, you might do the odd post on LinkedIn here, there, but in order for true growth, before you get any of the systems in place as a leadership team, that's what you want to be aiming to do, because you want to be tackling all these. You end up with a web of messaging that goes out through all these different angles, and all these different angles get fed into one funneling system. And this funneling system will attract you whether you're cold, warm, super hot, ready to buy. Now, that funneling system, it's complex and it takes a lot to get set up on the initial outstep. But once you've got that set up, you can feed people in at every single stage, right? And it just warms them through a process. You can have lead magnets feeding at each different section. So really cold, really cold. And whether those customers might take 1 year, 6 months, 2 years to be ready to buy, you're not just trying to capture people that are super hot right now. You're capturing people 2 years down the line. And like I say, it can be a nightmare to set up at first, but for exceptional growth, it's systems like that you need to put in place. And like I say, for the podcasting, for the workshops, things like that, all you're doing is you're going from a message. You're not talking to one-on-one. You're talking to one-to-many. One-to-many that are all at all different stages in those buying journeys. Not aware of you, who you are, what you do, to completely aware of what you do, to absolutely need to work with these people. That's why we kind of align all those in place. Another tactic that we use, which you don't get in a lot of B2B companies, is sales letters, which is incredible because the ROI on actually getting them done is incredible. So say, for example, you've got people visiting your site, and they visit, they spend a bit of time on there, and then you do retargeting ads, and they get fired back with the retargeting. Rather than just having that saying, book a call with us, this is what we do, or retargeting back to your website, which is a pointless endeavor because they've already been there, send them to a brand new sales page that's still for your company, still got your logo there, but rather than having it be your website, it's a sales page specifically on that retargeting. And your video set, you can have a sales letter there and a VSL video sales letter, and have that by the CEO, have that by the leadership team, and go into exactly why you want to work with these people, what it is you do, what makes you stand out. Have that professionally done, and then just have a little link at the bottom saying, look, book a call, right? You'd be amazed at how much of an increase in your revenue and your bookings that come through just from that little mode alone. And again, that feeds into your funnel, because not all of those will show, not all of those will be ready to buy, but once they are in that funnel and that CRM's properly managed, you're focusing on every single level. So directly within a month, just implementing the VSL, the retargeting on the ads, and the separate sales page, you'll already see an increase in the revenue that you generate. But you'll also, with the funnel system in place, you are making sure that 6 to 12 months down the line, or 2 years, depending on how big of an offer there is, because obviously the bigger the offer, the longer the sales process is. You're making sure that you're honing in on every single aspect and not missing out on hardly any of extra revenue that could come in. But like I say, just on 4 weeks alone with that, and even on your outreach, which I'll come to in a minute, even on your outreach, what you're doing is you're selling. You're not trying to get people you're not trying to sell something. You're not trying to say, look, buy from us now, buy from us now, buy from us now. All you're doing with your outreach and your marketing is building authority, positioning yourself correctly, and feeding people into that funnel, regardless of where they are in that buying journey, right? And if they do happen to be needing your service now, absolutely fully aware of who you are and want to buy, they'll just jump to the top. They'll book a call. That's it, done. They'll go through that sales process. Right. Given the time, I'm going to miss this because of what I might do. I might put together a webinar just solely on this, because this is a great opportunity to. Right, we work in the tech sector. Most of you watching this will be in the tech sector ecosystem, but this works for absolutely any industry. So, in regards to what industry you're in, some of you may joke or laugh about certain aspects of it and how bad it is, and so forth. But then it gets left there. There are ways in which you can flip that narrative and use that to your advantage, right? But like I say, I'll use that on a separate webinar because that's a whole different entity in itself. Right, on to the next bit. So, like I say, with our systems that we do, it's a 5-pillar system. Your leadership authority, that's 1. Your funneling system, that's 2. How you feed everything in and create a demand generation system, so leads come to you, not you going out chasing. That's 3. Your growth hacking is another one. And what that, especially in the tech sector, you've got techie kind of people that are great, absolutely amazing at coming up with ideas, right? What certain methods within the growth hacking ecosystem do, it pairs up small little teams within your business. So say, for example, your business is 100 people strong, right? Within that, you'll set up 5 or 10 different small teams, pairing with different departments. So, for example, you might have a systems engineer, a coder, marketing person, and someone from the leadership team. Right? Then you'll gamify it. What you'll do, that team and 4 or 5 others will say, look, right, we've got this problem here. This was our revenue last year. What we want to do is fill this funnel that we've got. Now we want to look at people that are maybe ready to buy within 6 months. So they know that they've got a project coming up. They know that roughly of what they want to achieve with it, but they need more information. They need to start delving into those calls, those discovery calls, and see which ones. See which are the best businesses out there for that, to achieve that. And B, is there anything that we're kind of missing within that project scope? So that might be the people that you want to get into the funnel there. So you've got these 4 or 5 different growth hacking teams that you've set up just as a little side project within the business. And what you'll do, you'll gamify them off on one another. So within the business, they'll try to work out the best method within a set budget of how to get so many leads into that funnel, right, with the resources that they have on board. And what you'll find is they'll work against each other in a joyful way, and come up with some incredible ways to bring attention to that part of the funnel and drive a shed load of traffic into it. Dropbox was founded on growth hacking techniques. Many other tech businesses, and the reason they worked so well is because they looked at what they had available, the resources that they had available, looked at crafty and clever ways to bring attention to it, and deploy it. So if you've got 4 or 5 different teams working on that, say you give them a small budget, and then you give them 2 to 3 months to work on it as a team. It's incredible for morale. It's incredible to build up how the teams interact with themselves. You're getting from different departments getting involved. Then you've got 4 or 5 different teams all bringing certain amount of attention and potential revenue to that funnel system. It's incredible. But again, I'll do a separate thing on that because that's a whole other. I could talk about that for about 3-4 days probably, because it's an incredible way to generate revenue. It's tricky, and you can only do it with teams of a certain size, but it's an incredible way of doing it. But like I say, the main thing is what we're trying to do is get everything into the funnel system. Right, it's done it a peculiar way, this thing. So I'll give you an idea of some of the clients that we've had. Some of the customers that we've got for our clients. Some incredible ones on there, actually, when you think about it. And that's only a very, very small percentage. Don't know why it's saying thank you, because it's missed a load of things out here. Right. Move around the core. So that's, I mean, like I say, that's the main thing in there. How do you get a load of people into your funnel? And how do you deliver, or not how do you deliver, how do you make sure at every stage of that funnel, people are either converting or going on the next stage? And that's the tricky bit. That's the difficult bit. If you as a business, or you as a founder, or whatever position you are in, if you spend 4 solid weeks building a really in-depth, complex funnel system, and I say complex in the sense that it doesn't have to be overly technical, it doesn't have to be insanely complicated, but how it maneuvers into, you need good copy, you need well thought out processes of how do we get from this person from being super cold to being to the next stage. And you do that with different lead magnets that get them involved. You do that with various questioning, polls, interactions within that funnel system that navigates them just wherever they need to go within that process. And you might have, for example, someone in the system running around going cold, warm, warm, cold, cold, warm, cold, and just keep going back and forth. Then 2 years down the line, ready to buy, and it keeps them in. And you can design it in a way that it doesn't get boring for them. There's always information in there that helps them, whether they want to work with you or not, right? And that should be your goal. You're not going to convert every single one of them on there. So your goal should be helping them at every single stage, regardless of whether they want to work with you or not, right? Give them reason to stay on board. If that makes sense. And that's what you do with good lead magnets, good walkthroughs. You'll see incredible increase in the revenue that you do. Now, I talked about the growth hacking systems briefly. How do you another way to kind of bring attention to those funnel systems? We as a business, we started out doing lead gen, and we was doing lead gen. So contacting companies saying, "Yeah, this is what we do. This is what our clients do." Blah blah blah. Are acting on behalf of our clients, saying, "This is what we do. Can we get on a meeting?" So and forth. And from that position, you're chasing leads constantly. The goal that the model that we shifted to now is basically putting yourself in a position of authority. So what you're doing, you're not chasing leads, you're making sure leads are coming to you. So that's from your branding, that's your material that you put on LinkedIn, that's from the material that you do on your outreach. Your outreach isn't saying, this is us, this is what we do, book a meeting. It's customer focused and customer centric. And putting them in, going to them, whether because you don't know where they are in their journey. You're contacting them saying, "Hi, this is us," and what you want to do is, like I said before, you want to speak to them in a way that says, "How can we get you from here to here, regardless of whether you work with us or not?" Right? Just by that little twist alone, you're not coming from a place of desperation. Your sole purpose is to try and help people go from point A to point B, right? Now, your outreach needs to do that. Your content needs to do that. Your webinars, how can we take you from here to here with the least amount of friction possible, right? And you just keep doing that, and it all it feeds into itself. So what you end up doing, you end up creating this literature around this, and you're creating your outreach, creating your webinars, regardless, whatever you're doing. All this literature goes in, how do we take you from point A to point B? Then you use that for your further literature to create like webinars, go on your podcasts, industry newsletters, your newsletter yourself, guest blogging, things like articles like Medium, so forth, like that. All that then feeds into your funnel, which primes them at every level, each and every stage, because they go in depending on where they've come from, depends on where they go into the funnel. The feedback that you get from that funnel then allows you to create more literature to explain how you can get them from point A to point B with the least amount of friction, right? It's just an ecosystem. That's all it is, right? And in the ecosystem, you can, like I say, you can hand them, or you can ask them to fill in scorecards or questionnaires, which are great, because what you do then, you end up getting a further understanding of where they are on the journey, and then you can place them properly in the funnel. Or if they're super ready to buy, jump on the call with the sales team. Now, what I will say is this: when you deploy these systems, right? So you advanced funnel, get all your leadership team on board and work out your messaging, working with a decent copywriter so you can position yourself from a place of authority. That funnel starts getting full up very quick, especially when you're doing it with outreach systems, which means your sales team also get pretty hectic. That you need to be prepared for. What I will say is, before you even do that, you need to get all your systems in place. So if you're using a CRM and you don't utilize it properly, get using it properly, because once all those other systems, it's pointless feeding everything in if your sales team aren't ready, your systems aren't in place, because you'll get all these leads coming through. You won't be able to fulfill it. You won't be able to convert them, and it's just a waste. So work from the bottom up, right? Get the funnel correct, right? Even if you've got no one going into it, get that funnel correct. Then you've got it complex, there, ready. Then you can look at, right, how do I feed that part of it? How do I feed that part of it? Right, that part needs more leads. How do we get people into there? And that ends up being your base for which you start working on. And then you can notice bottlenecks, because that starts getting fed in. You might start doing warm people in. That starts increasing your booking rate, but your conversions aren't there. So then you can focus on the sales team, right? And so, all right, we need training, get these people on board, systematize it, automate most of it. That's the way we do it within our WhatsApp. So, like I say, there's more that I can go into there, but I'll leave that there for now. I know for those people that are watching this on LinkedIn that they've submitted their email address. What I will do, there's a more in-depth version of this slide deck. I will send that to you on email from my personal email. If you've got any questions on there, hit me up, and I'll do my best to get back to it. Awareness, consideration, decision making. That's the three steps. But there's a lot more complex factors than that. Like I say, But like I say, what I'll do, I will get that to you on email. I hope you've got a lot out of this. I want to try and do these every week because there's so many different things to cover. This is just a broad. I want to go in depth on the funnel system. I want to go in depth on how you get people in at every stage on that. The growth hacking. There's so much to cover. So what I'll do, I'll schedule these in probably every week or every other week for sure, and then I can get you guys up to scratch on scaling into a business, and scaling in a way that is manageable. You can onboard new team members and make sure you know where you are, and make sure you as a leader or you as a business founder, you know your pipeline. You can say, right, all right, so we've got so many people in at this stage. We know for sure that so many of them will convert in 3 months, right? So we need to plan for that. That's the beauty of having this system in place. So yeah, I hope you got a lot out of it. Give me about an hour and I'll send all this on email to you, so you've got it all there. But other than that, thank you for watching. Genuinely appreciate it. Hope you've got something out of it, and hit me up if you've got any questions. Thank you.